What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 2 for 2, your sports podcast for the culture, by the voice of the culture. I'm your host, Keith. I'm here as always, my brother Nell. We back on the pod for you guys today, man. It's season 3, episode 92. Let's get it. Nell, it's good to see you, man. It is so good to see you. I know. I know you're happy, because I'm happy. If I could paint my walls, it would be orange and blue skies behind me right now, all around me. Orange and blue skies, man. The New York Knickerbockers. I ain't gonna go out like Doris.
You messed it up. Like, I got the blue one. You should have wore some orange. That's not enough orange. So it's be orange and blue skies, not orange, blue, and white skies.
That look like Sixers blue.
Nah, it's Nick blue.
Something about it feels very Sixers-ish. There's orange and blue skies all around us now. Don't worry. The Knicks are up 3-1. I just gotta say one thing to you, brother. It's
Please
that
don't.
easy.
Please don't.
All right, we'll get to that later. Man. Listen. The NBA draft lottery was last night, and that's something that we both looked forward to for different reasons. And we had something that many people would say is damn near impossible. 1.8% chance for the Dallas Mavericks to come out with the number 1 pick, and they pull it off. Now, what do you think about these draft results, man? Overall, how it ends for your Sixers now at the 3 spot, and Dallas getting that 1 spot, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, the top 3 order, definitely insane turn of events. Obviously, none of the bottom teams in the league. I forgot who had the best odds. Utah and Washington, and I forgot who at 3rd, maybe Charlotte. None of those teams getting a top 3 pick after the seasons they had was, sometimes you kind of feel sad for them because, franchises like that, they need, the generational talents coming out. They need the Cooper Flags. They need the Wembanyamas if they ever want to have a chance of, prosperity. But somehow, some way, the lottery just always seems to shake out in a way that's going to have the league talking. And, I mean, what better way for it to end than Dallas getting the number 1 pick after so much talk about that huge, probably the biggest trade ever in NBA history with trading Luka to Lakers, and that reaction, the fire Nico chants, and Kyrie tearing his ACL and AD being hurt, them barely getting to the play-in and not being able to get to the playoffs. So all that culminating in the number 1 pick and Cooper Flag, who by far, it's not even really a question. It's not like there's a bunch of prospects and, it's Cooper Flag number 1. We know that's where they're going. Not, a much stronger draft as far as, top of the order than last year. So, some true star potential in this draft, and Dallas got the biggest one. So, move on, Luka, and, here's the Cooper Flag era.
Yeah. It's unheard of, but it doesn't even... It's one of those things that people are going to look at this and have talks of, like, really, like, what are the odds, right? Like, how does it work out? You got people saying... You're saying that there's people that are out here saying that, the NBA set it up and, all these funny jokes and different things, but, looking ahead, like, at what the Mavericks are now facing in front of them, as you said, they're going to take Cooper Flag. Right before we hopped on here, they came out and basically said it, or something was said, a report was said that they're not moving the pick. And oddly enough, I was one of the few people, well, not few people, I was one of the people that saw some real potential in Dallas maybe trading that number 1 pick, just because of the simple fact that, you said that you're all in, right? They made the AD deal to go get a championship. Cooper Flag is elite in terms of what he will bring all around on the floor. But I just wonder, does he fit that, so to speak, window, right, of right now? Like, does adding Cooper Flag right now to your team as a Dallas Maverick, with Kyrie, with AD, does that give you championship, right? And I think...
Certainly doesn't hurt their chances.
It doesn't, right? It certainly doesn't. So it just was... I was one of the people I'm questioning, do you use that to go get, somebody else like a Giannis? Do you use it to go maybe see if you get Kevin Durant or I don't know who might be around. I heard some people throw around Devin Booker, like stuff like that. Like, does that come in? Add one of those guys, it almost in terms of pure. We've seen the NBA production. It's
Only reason
there.
I really can't see them trading in for Giannis is, I mean, AD has made a fuss the last like 5 years about playing center. I mean, like the Cooper Flag fit is still interesting. He can play a little small forward, but I
Yeah,
think most people expect him kind of to be a power forward. But I mean, he could play the three. You never know.
that he's
But
gonna
yeah,
have to shoot it well.
yeah, Giannis and AD, like somebody's gonna have to play the five, and AD is, he's been very vocal about not wanting to play the five in his career. So
Yeah, no, I fully get that. I mean, and Cooper, I mean, for what he brings, the exciting part that I see with him, with him most likely going to Dallas is we talked about when they got AD about the defensive prowess of that team, right, at full strength. Now you got Cooper Flag, who is one of the better defenders in this draft as well, right? Like he's gonna guard, like you said, 3, 4. Like he can guard threes. I think offensively in the league, he'll have to expand a little more to be able to solidify himself at the three. But he definitely is a tweener that's got it all in terms of playmaking ability, plays defense, can rebound the basketball, has scoring ability, and he's a very very good athlete. Like he has
yeah,
some very free,
a
yeah.
possible front line of Coop and AD and Lively or Gafford.
Yeah,
I mean, all three of those guys defend at a high level, protect the rim, can switch. Like, yeah, it's a good start.
oh yeah. I mean, I would think you will hope to look to add some more behind Clay in terms of like shooting guard depth and overall scoring. I think, they got blessing in disguise with Najee Marshall, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to be a very solid rotational piece for you, but you probably still need some more shooting. You probably need another guy behind Kyrie. What are we doing with Jaden Hardy, right? We've seen him in and out, have his moments, but we'll see. But Dallas, I mean, we talked about this year if they were fully healthy that they had a chance to compete in the West. I mean, so like you said, with Cooper Flag or with moving the pick, whatever the case, like they're not in a bad spot if they keep Cooper Flag. Right? I mean, they're in a great spot. So that'll be exciting. What about your Sixers, man? I gotta ask you. Do you have a guy that you would like at 3?
Um, I mean, I would prefer Harper over Bailey. I'm hoping that with the Spurs crowded backcourt at the moment, that maybe they opt for Ace Bailey over Harper. But I
I can
mean,
see them trading their pick too. Just gonna
I'm
throw that
not
out there.
not really complaining with whoever. Um, I've been vocal about being a big fan of Trey Johnson out of Texas. Harper's good. Who's the guy from Baylor? They keep mocking us at
DJ
three.
Edgecombe.
Yeah. Not that high on him, but obviously, athletic guard that can defend. I think he's one of the best transition scorers in college basketball, so that'll certainly help us. Who with Maxi, those two in transition be fun. But yeah, I'm really, if I had a preference, I'd really like Harper or Trey Johnson, but trying to sell myself on Bailey just in case that's the option. But we went to
That's
go
your
see
guy.
we went to
That's
go
your
see him
guy.
play at Maryland, and was not impressed. More impressed with Harper from what I saw at that game. So I'm just excited that we got to keep our pick. There's a little confusion. ESPN tried to set me up.
They did.
I was really confused for a second. I was about to crash out until I saw our name pop up in the top four. So just thankful that we got to keep our pick, because that would have been just a disaster way to end a disaster season for the Sixers if we didn't keep that pick. So thank God.
Yeah. How does my thing with y'all is how does that shake out the guards, like the guard spot shaking
Yeah, I
out
have no clue.
with
That's
all
why
the
it really would have been
guys?
nice to get number one, or if Ace Bailey would have just like not folded on his draft stock.
He
But
didn't fold. The man was sick.
he kind of folded. People were low key talking about him as maybe being number one, like first couple weeks of the
I
season.
mean, he might have a good combine.
I hope so. Like I wouldn't mind a 6'9" forward 3 level scorer that can get buckets. Like we could use it, but
You got one.
a younger one.
Okay.
But I don't know. So I don't know what direction they're going in, but just happy that we have something to try to improve the team this offseason.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a fan of Maxey and McCain, Eminem show. But like, if you got a chance to draft Harper, I feel like you got to take it.
Yes, we'll find out.
And if Embiid and PG can come back and give us something, I think we got some solid depth. If we can bring back Grimes and Yabusele, and Bona had a pretty good rookie year. Kind of like some of the pieces that we got.
So you start Maxey, McCain, Harper, Paul George, Embiid.
Gosh, I don't know if that'll work.
You know, Paul George don't like playing the four. He said that.
I don't like him. I don't like the idea of him playing the four either. So, yeah, I don't know. A lot of questions there.
All right, well, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Daryl Morey's got to figure it out. He's probably got one more year. He's probably got one more year left. So, better put his thinking cap on.
It's exciting times, man. We got the future NBA on the way, so we'll see how that shakes out. But man, them Knicks, we're 3-1 right now in the series. Boston is down. Jason Tatum has torn his Achilles officially. Tough loss for them, especially in a big game for him. You know, that was by far his best game of probably maybe one of his arguably best performances of his playoff career.
He dropped 50 in a game 7 against
I mean, one of them, yeah. But he was on the way. He had 42, but he went down. We don't know. We'll never know, unfortunately. But nobody had us being here with a chance to win in 5. How we feeling, man? Tell me how you feeling.
It's more of a you question than me. I don't watching basketball as a fan. I don't really feel anything.
I once said that we built this team to beat the Celtics somewhere back in the archives. And that's what you're seeing, man. Right now, you know, last night was our best performance by far against them, right? I had said I needed us to be like dominating or at least showing that like we belong. So at some point throughout the game, we had to assert our dominance, right? I think we finally saw that this game, even though Jason Tatum, like I said, wasn't missing. Derek White wasn't missing. The Suns were shooting the ball well, but you know we stayed in the game. You know we're traditionally in games 1, 2, and 3. Knicks are down 20 consistently, right? You know we were down double digits at one point, but we fought back, and it's wild to think, man. We got a shot at it. We got a shot to maybe make it to the finals. You know, and it's a shame because I came on here before and you said I was delusional, and I might have been being delusional, but there's some things I've learned about being delusional. Sometimes you gotta be a little delusional when your dreams and your aspirations are that high. And my team is close to meeting them aspirations now. Let me tell you about Jalen Brunson.
I'm listening.
39, 12 assists. Against your guy.
Who is my guy? Why is everybody...
Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday, Derek White.
Jrue Holiday hasn't been my guy since 2012.
Somebody said that they have perimeter defenders that can guard Jalen Brunson. I'm not saying this is you. Derek White and Jrue Holiday there are 8 all NBA defensive team selections. 39, 12. He has 102. I was going to use my little stat sheet, but I'm so amped up. I already remembered it. I've been saying it all day. 102 fourth quarter points in the playoffs.
Great offense beats great defense any day.
You know who's second?
I mean, Mikhail.
God, no.
OG.
Great game by him, though. No, it's Anthony Edwards, but he has 68. Cat's like third, though. That was surprising. Yeah. Hey, he played great, too. He's playing great, too. My boy Brunson is averaging 28, 8, and 4. Shooting 43% from the field, 41% from 3, and 81% from the free throw line. And I saw a stat that said he's now, as a Knick, he has 4 career 35 and 10 assist games. 4. We're looking at the second coming of Michael Jordan in a Knick jersey.
You went there.
Nah, I'm just joking. That picture I said was funny, though.
I'm looking at you, fun.
Yeah. But no, man, all shit, like, this is the big fish, right? The Cavs, they down here, they playing with their food with the Pacers. We get to get our Pacers get back. What you said? You said WrestleMania, or was it It was WrestleMania, right? Brunson and Halliburton face off. That was last year after they beat us.
Yeah, they had a little altercation on SmackDown. We about to get the rematch.
We get our get back. Then the Knicks are in the finals. Now you're looking at the Knicks in the finals. But I'm not going. I'm gonna pump the brakes. I'm not
Go,
going.
nah, keep
Nah, I'm gonna
going.
pump the
Keep
brakes.
going.
I'm giving y'all too much ammo. I'm giving y'all too much ammo. See, I'm doing too much. Nah, I'm just saying what's coming ahead of us. We have a chance. We got a legitimate shot, which is something that to be bringing it down to real truth. Like I can't say I expected this to go like this. Not, but I did say I wanted Boston, and here we are. So
Yeah, can't deny what I'm seeing. Knicks playing great basketball. Definitely had their best game in the postseason. Offensively for sure. They took Tatum's best punch. That was, like you said, his best game of the postseason until that injury. But even before the injury, the Knicks were running away with that game. Momentum had already been swung in their favor. And if you look at the landscape, the rest of not just the East, but the rest of the league. I mean, is there any team that you can confidently say the Knicks wouldn't have a chance of beating?
don't do that. Don't do that to me. I'm not ready. I
Just
can't do
saying.
that.
For being honest, like you said, especially if you laid out the clutch time stats, if you just get that game to the fourth quarter, 5 minutes, and have it at least be a 5 to 8 point game, there's no telling what that Brunson guy will do.
Nah, that man.
There's no telling what that man will do.
That's Cap. You know his name. It's easy right now. Cat
So
had 20. Cat had 23 off 11 to 13 shooting. He looked like a bum a couple of times during the game. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm learning. You got to take the good with the bad. Man. You got to take the good with the bad.
I mean,
But
he's shown.
we got to close him out. We got to close him out. We still got one more. You're not gonna get me too ahead of myself. I'm already too ahead of myself. But it's okay. We good.
I think it'll be over in Game 5.
Jalen Brown generational game on the way.
To imagine that.
Hey, he's about to be ridiculous in terms of just like his next year for them is gonna be funny. But
It'll be a
that's
real expensive team next year. See what they do.
neither here nor there. But yeah, man, shout out to the Knicks, man. We got a shot, man. Y'all gonna be sick of me soon. Don't worry. Don't worry. Um we talked about the Cavs and the Pacers series, man. Nobody expected that either, right? The top two teams in the East are looking at 3-1s together right now, right? If the Cavs can't pull it out, is it time to finally, start having some conversation about Donovan Mitchell? Put some of the blame on him, or you got Halliburton. He is what it is. What it is.
Yeah, I don't think this series is. It's tough for me to put this series on Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, they had such a great year where they won 64 games or something like that, number one seed. And we've seen Donovan Mitchell in this position before, a top 3, 4 team, in the league, and they get to the second round and just doesn't seem to work out for him. But I think he's played terrific outside of that game where they lost where they were down like 40 at halftime. And he messed up his ankle warming up for the third quarter. But what he had, 48 the first game, and I don't know, 40, 30 something, 30, 40 something the next game. He's played as well as he can. The issue, obviously, the first couple of games, Garland was out. Mobley and Hunter get hurt in that game. Don't play in the second one. Show up the third. They win that one. Kind of looked like what Boston looked like. They flipped the script and
Yep.
are they going to tie it up 2-2 and take the momentum back? And just like the Knicks, both the Knicks and Pacers kind of shut the door on that. Obviously, the series not over 3-1, but I mean they call it a commanding 3-1 lead for a reason. It's pretty hard to win 3 straight. So I think you got to give the Pacers a lot of credit for the way they played. Halliburton has had some incredible moments this postseason. That game 2 losses definitely going to be keeping them up at night because I still don't know how they blew that one. That's probably that's probably the biggest.
I remember when you watched that jump when you texted. I was like,
Yeah, my jaw dropped when when he got that rebound off the free throw and hit that three. I mean, other than the Pacers comeback against the Bucks, like that's probably the most dumbfounding comeback I've seen this postseason. So, got to give the Pacers a lot of credit. Siakam has been playing well. Miles Turner's been knocking down shots, playing well. Neesmith, Nimhart, those guys are contributing. Yeah, Matherin off the bench. TJ McConnell's coming in, being a pest on both sides. Like, they got a pretty solid team. They've
I
got a
don't want to
solid
see him
team.
again.
It's going to be a fun series. Going to be a lot of trash talk.
It's gonna be dramatic as hell. Dramatic as hell.
Certainly looking forward to it if that's the matchup that we expect. But yeah, I just like I said with the Cavs, they had a great regular season, but you just look at their team and it just feels like something is missing when it comes to postseason basketball. We know the game slows down, execution is at a high level, defenses, key in on your star guys a lot more. Adjustments are made. You're not going to be able to get away. You play a team in January and then you play them again in April, and it totally different versus every other day where you're constantly making adjustments and thinking and scheming of how you want to, get good shots or stop a certain guy. So I just think as a team, I still never really bought into Jared Allen and Evan Mobley as a front court. Garland being out for this series was huge for them. And then, he tries to come back and they had a good game 3, but game 4, they just, I don't know what happened game 4. So I don't know. Donovan Mitchell I think he's a really good player. I just don't think he can be the number 1 on the team. And there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with what you're saying in the sense of simply all season, regardless of how great they looked, right? Great season. Like you said, 64 wins. I think it was 64-18. But it never felt like when we talked about in the East, so we talked about real contenders, it never felt like the Cavs were one of those teams that we were just going to throw in there, right? Like we talked about the East, it was always just the Celtics and then whoever comes out the West, right? We didn't talk about the Cavs and they had the best record, or did they have the best record in the league?
Second best. Okay, see.
Second best record in the league, and it's like the 2-1 seeds were the least talked about teams ever, really. I think ever. But and I think the difference between the Cavs and the Thunder, I think like you said, the Cavs is just you couldn't really get with it. You can't really believe it. Donovan Mitchell is explosive, but he's sometimes extremely inefficient, right? He shoots a lot of shots. He takes a lot of it's not a high level of like efficient buckets where it's like you said in the playoffs where every single possession counts, right? Like you talk about Jalen Brunson, like the Knicks, it's Jalen Brunson's getting the ball, and y'all are gonna watch out, and he's gonna find his way to his best shot, right? We talk about guys like Shea, guys like Ant, like they're in playoff basketball. It's I'm going to get the best shot every single time. And I feel like the Cavs, the way they play, is just not really that, right? It's not. It doesn't really have that. Even with Darius Garland being a good playmaker, it doesn't feel like with Halliburton and the Pacers, like Halliburton kind of dictates where these shots are coming from in the offense, right? It's gonna be an open shot from somebody the way they play. The Cavs is just not really that, and so I think what they're running up on is with the injuries and with the other things where you have all these guys that are kind of ambiguous in their nature as far as like what they really are in the league. It's hard to. It's not hard for me to see this happening, right? It is what it is. I don't think anybody thought if let's say all things went how they were supposed to go and it was Boston Cleveland that Cleveland would have won that series. Like we didn't really expect that. So I mean I don't know about as far as like how much to blame on Donovan Mitchell. I kind of think like you said like it's just he's kind of showing that he's an explosive scorer, but he's just not a guy that as your number 1 that's going to win you a championship, right? It's not going to happen.
And playoff pressure is real. Like
It's a real thing.
Like Ty Jerome, who had an incredible season, has not had a good playoffs at all. We remember the quote. I forgot who he was talking. I don't know if it was Miami or another team where he said
it was Paolo.
He said he would start on any team, like, and then you wet the bed in the playoffs. At the end of the day, guys got to knock down. Your other guys got to knock down shots. In the playoffs, you can score 40 and 50. If you got nobody else coming along for the ride with you, you can find yourself down 3-1.
And that's the problem. I'm looking at these stats right now, and it's just like, I mean, what was this? Game 4? So this was last game. Donovan Mitchell also, he's hurt now, right? He's got an ankle injury. He didn't come out in the second half of that game, but like, look at these game 4 stats. You get 2 points and 2 rebounds from Jared Allen in 20 minutes.
No bueno.
You get Garland gives you 21 and 6 of 11 from the field. You talking about your man Ty, where's he at? Ty Jerome. He shot the ball 3 times. Like, and this is a blowout. Like, it's just, even in these Donovan Mitchell, where's this 40-point game? The one when they blew it. You get Donovan Mitchell gives you 48 on 15 to 30. 48, 15 to 30, shot 50%. But then like you said, Ty Jerome, 1 for 14. You got 23 points from Max Strus because he shot well, but you don't get nothing else, right? They didn't have Evan Mobley that game, but
Have Hunter, didn't have Garland.
it's just tough. It's kind of like, what are you doing? But then you look on the other side where the Pacers have Siakam 12, Neesmith 23, Turner 23, Halliburton 19, Nembhard 13. That's your starting 5. That's good. Then you get 19 off the bench from Benedict Mathurin. Like, that's good. They got a 20-point game for Obi Toppin in this series. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? It's interesting, man, for the Cavs, but I just don't think that roster, kind of like you saying it, I don't think we ever thought, that was really it. I don't think we ever really saw it being a championship roster. I don't think I would have seen them beat anybody out west in the finals if they made it. So
really good team, but just not enough.
Yeah, and some teams just are historically like that. We see that a lot in the NBA. It just, like you said, that playoff time is real. That's why we talk so much about teams having guys that are legitimate, proven playoff performers. To your point, right? Like, it sounds good, but it's different when you've been there, right? It's different when you got to really be there and you got to put up. So, hey, we'll see though. They can fight. It's not over, like you said. Teams come back from 3-1, so we'll find out how good they are. There's another 3-1 series. We talked about the legend killer Ant-Man. Unfortunately, Steph Curry is out of this series right now with a hamstring strain. But now the Warriors with Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green and Steve Kerr as the head coach, they're looking at a 3-1 deficit. What's your biggest takeaway from this series right now?
Well, number one, Wardell is obviously everything to his team. First game had 13, and I don't know how many minutes he played. 13 minutes? They were up 10 before he exited. Obviously, they were able to keep that momentum and win that game, but after that, it's just been tough to generate offense since that game. Even with Jimmy Butler, we obviously haven't seen Jimmy explode the way we've been accustomed to in the postseason. His previous 5 years with Miami, it's been tough to find offense. Obviously, you got Buddy Hield trying to get him shots, Moody, Kuminga, but it's just not enough. Steph, like the team is built around him. He makes his team go. His off-ball movement opens up a lot for everybody on that team. His gravity, his shooting gravity opens up a lot for everybody else. The 2-man game with him and Draymond. So they're missing a lot of that. So it's really not a fair fight. Shout out to Minnesota for getting the job done. Ant's been absolutely balling. Give Julius Randle a lot of credit. He's kind of turned around the narrative on him this postseason. Finally having a pretty good outing. Had his first 30-point playoff game. Really kept that team afloat offensively in the first half when he scored 19 in game 4 when they were struggling a bit, and then Ant-Man took it home in the second half. So, there were a lot of questions when that trade was made with him and Cat about his postseason performances and, what the Wolves were doing. But, give him a lot of credit. He's healthy this year, and, he's been balling, and he's going to be a key reason as to why they're getting back to the Western Conference Finals. So it turns out it looks like it's been a win-win trade for both teams. Both teams getting to the conference championship. That would be a fun finals matchup.
Hey, I saw another tweet. The WNBA finals was Minnesota, New York.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm just saying. Nah, I'm glad that you talk about.
Dallas gets the number one pick in the WNBA and NBA. Minnesota, New York, and the finals in the WNBA,
Hey,
NBA.
the WNBA is trying to get some of that money, man. Things are all connected now. I'm just saying. Something's crazy. Some hey,
That would probably be the finals matchup I would want the most. Yeah, Knicks Wolves. I could entertain that.
ain't coming in the garden talking all that.
He will. And that would be the fun part.
Yeah. The only team I really don't want to see if we do make the finals is oddly enough is the Thunder. Like I'd be okay playing Jokic. And the reason why I say the Thunder is because I feel like they're like a much better version of the Pacers. Like we're gonna struggle with the Pacers because they're deep. They play a lot of guys. They shoot the ball a lot. Like they move the ball. They play fast. Like the Thunder do the same thing, and they have Shea, and their role guys are better.
Are
That's
they?
all. I mean, they're supposed to be. They playoff performers. You're right. Things are happening. So, but I'd like to. That'd be fun. Julius come back to New York. Cat go back to Minnesota.
That would be good.
Tibbs, former Minnesota coach.
Ever seen two guys get traded before the season and then meet in the finals? That'd be good storytelling right there.
The Villanova Knicks would be reunited on the same floor. Everybody's
How
superpowers
about
coming back.
DiVincenzo?
Mikal Bridges might. Hey, everybody gonna be going off. I'm sold.
Yeah, I think the streets need that one.
I'm sold. That would be cool, man. But yeah, the hard part for the Warriors though is like you said, no Steph, and that's the hard part about being a team like that where you've been so like superstar led by the same guy for so long. It's kind of like we saw like when those Lakers teams later down the line didn't have Kobe and whatnot. Like it was kind of like, well, what are we supposed to do? So it's like,
Rightfully so.
I mean, no, of course, and so it's like with Steph Curry, like you said, like he elevates how Draymond Green looks, right? Like he makes Jimmy Butler's role in this on his team way different. Like Jimmy showed you, like yeah, I can go get 30, but Jimmy's 30 ain't Steph's 30 for the Warriors, right? It don't add the same level of pressure, the same level of what you have to pay attention for because Steph Curry is shooting the ball from anywhere. He requires your best defender. He requires attention from your help defenders. And he's a great passer. Like and he can get to the cup. So like that's a much different guard and it takes a lot of pressure off Minnesota. And then on the back end, it makes the Warriors have to play different guys. You seen Trace Jackson Davis come into the series. I have to play. Jonathan Kuminga ain't played in months, and he's got to play, and he's going for
Peter's
30.
desperate.
Yeah, it's like they're just like we really don't know what to do, and Minnesota is very comfortable. And the thing about playing a guy like Anthony Edwards is the more comfortable he is, the worse off you are. He's as confident. He's already as confident as he ever been and he's one of those players, and y'all listening, y'all know those players that when they start talking more and they start feeling more, they get even better than they already are. He's one of them. So right now, he's laughing to the bank with this series, and it's not going to get any better. And shout out to Julius Randle for how he's played. So
I'm just glad
big
he
big fan.
isn't adding Steph Curry to his resume.
Yeah, technically he
It
can't.
don't count.
He
Just got
can't.
an asterisk next to it.
Yeah, it does. It does. But hey, what are the odds if Steph can come back by some chance? 3-2 and pull it. Okay, we're gonna stop right there. All right. Nuggets Thunder out west as well, tied 2-2, man. Thunder got a big win to tie the series up after a tough loss, man. Who's got momentum? Are Thunder back in the driver's seat here, or are we the Joker got it?
Part of me feels like Joker's had such a down series compared to what we're accustomed to. Like he's been so great these past 4 or 5 years that you're almost shocked when he has a bad game. And it's like it looks like OKC is legitimately flustering him. He's turned. He has, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if this was going into Game 3 or after Game 4, but at one point he had 16 assists to 15 turnovers or something like that. And that's just not something that you ever see from Jokic. His assist to turnover ratio sometimes it's high, but he's gonna have way more assists than he has turnovers and making plays. He's talked about him missing, a couple bunnies at the rim, that push shot, that floater on his championship run. It felt like he never missed those little push shots, those floaters in the lanes. OKC's length has kind of been bothering him. They've got, they've thrown a ton of different matchups at him. Chet, Hartenstein, they've had, throwing smalls on him, and had Holmgren and Hartenstein, kind of playing safety in the backfield. So I mean, they were just throwing a bunch of different coverages at him, and I think for the first time he's kind of struggling with that a bit. So I feel like over these next 3 games, he's just going to break out and he's going to be due for one of those MVP masterful performances, 30, 20, 10, 40, 15, and 13, something like that. So I'm a little nervous for the Thunder, even though they did get a big win on the road to tie the series. But I feel like the Nuggets still have a chance because I think Jokic is going to break out of that slump soon.
Like you said, man, we're so used to this guy being insane that like it's weird when it's weird to question him, right? It's hard for you to really be like, oh, well, like it'll look like this forever, and like we're still talking about like guy that his stats are still like crazy, right? He's still having great performances. He's shooting threes. He's doing pretty well. But like you said, the Thunder do have a lot of guys are they're doing different things, but then it just seems like they've gotta get it done. But I think the Thunder are in a good spot, right? I feel like to your point, it's kind of just gonna have to be a really really crazy Jokic night, right? I feel like their game plan is really really good, and how they're defending them. The only guy that I hate when I see them put on him is Jalen Williams, and not little Jalen Williams, the one with the dreads, because it's like he just fouls. Like that's when Jokic is like, okay, I'm just gonna get to the free throw line. He can't really do much with him. But I think I'm going to need to see more from the Nuggets supporting cast consistently. We had that game the other night. What was game 3 when like Porter had 20, Jamal Murray had 20, uh, Aaron Gordon had 20, and that was they
I
won.
feel like that's more likely to happen than at
I
this
don't
point
know.
OKC's supporting cast.
I mean, but
Um,
we still
reception
Has Shea had a Shea game yet?
for playoff standards, maybe.
We wasted a J Dub 30 ball because Shea was being weird. So it's like, I mean, we can still see that. And the supporting cast, they could get going. Like, they could have, anywhere to 8 guys with 10 plus points. Like, that's what they do. And I just feel like the Nuggets need a lot from Russ off the bench. They need a lot more from Jamal Murray, right? Like Christian Brown, all those guys, like Aaron Gordon, they have to play really well, or it's no shot. Because Jokic, the way to defend Jokic is it requires them to be there. So I think right now, if you the Thunder, we like, hey, okay, we took some lumps. We didn't expect to lose game 1, but like, hey, it's evened up right now. We just got to win. Momentum's on our side. We're young, we're youthful. Maybe these older guys will slow down. That's my
Best of 3, my gut says Nuggets right now.
go see. I'm gonna give Shea a chance. I love to see another Jokic masterpiece though. I can't lie. That game 1, that was insane. I had a great time watching that game.
I'd much
But man,
prefer seeing Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals, I will say.
you said who Nuggets Timberwolves? More than
OKC.
okay,
OKC.
so yeah,
I'd like to see Aiton versus Shea.
that'd be fun.
Something new.
Yeah, that was starting a new chapter. Be real nice. I don't know how Minnesota. We'll see. We'll see. Anything happens in the playoffs, right? You gotta like that's the thing about the playoffs. Like you gotta throw the entire regular season away. Like you like
Now more than ever.
it really doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter at all. I mean, like we talked about, Knicks hadn't come within 20 points of beating the Celtics. Now they're up 3-1, right? We haven't
We got
I don't think
16 in the conference finals.
yeah, that's what I'm about. Like you got it's wild. The Pacers making the Cavs look like they weren't one
They're
of the
going
best
to
teams
have a
all
home
season.
court in the conference finals. I've seen it all.
We're going to New York.
I am not paying $6,000 to
No, we
sit.
don't got to go to the game. We're gonna go sit down at a nice spot, watch the game, comfy with the locals. Let you soak it all in. Then we're gonna go out in the streets and flood the streets, and we're gonna be on the side talk NYC,
I'm sorry,
and
everyone. I'm a Sixers fan.
you're gonna get jumped. You can't do that. You're gonna get jumped. I'm not gonna help you.
I'm going to pull up with a Trae Young jersey.
Yo, you trying to get. But the funniest thing about those little like Knicks Jones is like no matter who we're playing, somebody always comes in there saying F Trey Young. Like no matter what, every time it's just some one random person, F Trae Young. It's been F Boston, F Tom Brady, F the Red Sox, F Trae Young. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, that is cute. That is one of the funniest beefs of all time.
Yeah, so hilarious. Man, you can come, bro, but don't do that, man. Come on.
We'll see. It's either an Embiid jersey or a Trae Young jersey. I'm undecided.
I mean, the
I
Trae
may,
Young
I
jerseys.
may wear the Embiid jersey, and then when like somebody try to approach me, I'm gonna just take it off and unveil the Trae Young jersey.
Everybody in the comments of this joint, mark down how many minutes you think he lives if he does that out in New York. Man. They already said they already said the National Guard and all that ain't gonna be enough. So
I
imagine what
got
they
you
gonna
with
do.
me. We good.
Can't help you.
That's crazy.
I'll be like, guys, wait, they gonna jump me too. What's going on? Nah, that would be really funny.
Like, yo, I got the Trae Young jersey from him.
Nah, don't do that. Don't lie like that on me, man. Don't lie like that on me, man. Last thing before we finish up, man. We're hearing talks out of Giannis, out of his camp, that he's open minded these days, right? About his future. Do you think at this point should Giannis want out of Milwaukee at this point in his career?
Should he? I don't know if he should, but if he wants to, I totally understand, and I think most people should understand. At the end of the day, it's especially in this day and age, it's a business, and we criticize these NBA athletes summer after summer when they don't finish the job. And then when a guy who in that contention for best player in the league still, I mean, he's gone, I don't know how many years straight with 30, 10, and 5. Two-time MVP, defensive player of the year, a champion in his own right. You know, we criticize these guys, and then when they make business decision to go out and, you know, be put in a position to win a championship, they're also criticized for taking the easy way out. You can't have it both ways. So I would love to see him stay. I you know, grew up watching the NBA where a lot of guys play for one team, but I also understand it gets to a point where when the organization isn't doing what you feel is enough to go out there and compete for another championship, especially after you've already won one, totally understand it. And to be honest, as a fan, I think seeing Giannis go home in the first round, 3 of the last 4 years, whatever it is, like that's not fun for anyone. I, as a fan, I want to see the best players on the biggest stages. So I want to see Giannis in the conference finals, the finals, at least the second round. So you know, to see him go home early these past couple years has been, you know, it's you're missing something. You know, as you get deeper and deeper in the playoffs, you want the star power as much as possible. So if he has to go somewhere else to, you know, have a chance to play in May and June, I think he's earned that right, and he's already delivered a championship. So can't say he's skating out without, you know, completing the job.
Yeah, I understand that. And I agree with the fact that if he wants to, I mean, go ahead, right? Like he doesn't really owe Milwaukee anything, right? It's like he just, like you say, he got him a championship. He's brought lots of notoriety to Milwaukee, that market, all of that. Um, he'll be a Hall of Famer, so go ahead. But when we say should, I think of it like, and like I think of it like those other guys that we've seen kind of take that route and it not go well. And I kind of got this while I was listening to Carmelo Anthony talk about it. And I agree with him. And he said, look, Giannis is one of those guys that you kind of got to bring the party to him, right? Like Giannis, if what Giannis is going to cost to come to your team if he doesn't go to the right, if it's not the right team and the team doesn't have the infrastructure for it, you go and then you lose, right? It's going to be really hard to bring him, give up what you got to get him, and then bring him more stuff, right? So from a Giannis perspective, if I don't want to, if the goal is I just don't want to do this in Milwaukee, I'd rather go do this somewhere where it's nice sunshine and heavy market and whatever. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? If you can get to a team that's going to be able to trade off some guys and still be competitive with you, genuinely, and it's not going to be Milwaukee 2.0, cool. But that's the tough part about it, right? Especially when there's going to be a situation where you kind of are like asking out of this situation, like, hey, like I'm leaving. You know, like, I need y'all to get rid of me. It puts a lot of pressure on you as well because now you're like, hey, I don't. I got to do here. That's cool. I'm moving on. I'm gonna go do it somewhere else. It's gonna cost this, this, and this. The other team's gonna be like, yes, because it's Giannis, and then boom, like it might not be it, right? If it's not the right fit, it's gonna be nasty. You know what I'm saying? And that's the tough part when you think about guys in the legacy. That's where I'm thinking of it from. For Giannis, can Milwaukee actually bring you what you want? Are you a star? Are you a star that attracts what you want? Right? There's guys like that. Like there's some guys that might not want to play with Giannis. There might not be guys that can play. You talk about AD and Giannis, that fit, how weird that of a fit that is would be to some people in a degree, right? Like, does it work? If you take Giannis and you force your way to Houston, but your team still can't shoot the basketball, did you change the situation? You just moved to Houston. So it's so that's kind of where it is. But hey, I agree with you. Like it sucks to not see these stars play on that big stage. It's crazy to even think. Like I feel like this playoffs, the no matter what's going on, you see the Pacers playing well, you see the Knicks playing well, you're getting the Timberwolves and the Warriors, you're getting the Thunder and the Nuggets. It's like most people are like, damn, we're Bron. You know what I'm saying? We're Giannis.
Where's
Right? It don't
KD?
got right. Where's KD? It don't got that luster of like, oh, I'm about to watch the best player in the world play basketball, right? Because you got a lot of these smaller situations. But hey, man, today's NBA. Good luck to him. If you want to come to New York, hey, slide, baby. We got space for you. You feel me? Hey. I read a report. It said don't count out the Knicks. That'd be foolish.
I also read a report that said he wants to go somewhere where there's no state income tax.
What's that? Miami? You just moving to Miami. That's fine. You want to Tyreek Hill that thing, do your thing. You can be Tyreek Hill. We're going to still love you, baby, but it is what it is. So we'll see, man. But the playoffs, like we said, are really, really, really getting interesting. We got, what is that, 3-3-1 series and 1-2-2. So we'll see by the time we hop back on here how things are looking, man. I was actually looking at some stuff now. I'm going to Indianapolis end of May.
Man,
Unfortunately, I'm gonna miss it though. Game 5 of that series will be in New York while I'll be there, and I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And then Game 6 is the Friday that I leave. That's how it's
you don't
said.
have to leave.
I mean, I don't have to. I'll call the travel agency.
Get you
That'd
get
be. I
extra.
hope we're done with 6, man. I hope we're done by 6. I hope it goes 4.
How many 7 things?
Nah, that would be a good series. But hey, we'll see, man. So everybody stay tuned. For more, keep showing love on all social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Instagram, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts. We got you covered there, man. 2 for 2. We always there. With that, season 3, episode 92, Keith Snell. We out.